Hey everyone, welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to go through some tips and tricks using Lightpanel. So one of my first tips and tricks that I wanted to talk about was using quick presets so that you can quickly add on a specific look or style into an image. So let's grab this photograph here. Now let's say we really like the look of this sort of composition and this capture, and we want to create a unique style to apply it to other images that look similar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my look manually. I'm just going to go in, let's use black and white here. Let's also maybe pull back on the exposure a little, add some contrast, maybe boost the shadows just a little bit. And then I'm going to go down and add in a little bit of texture there just to add in some detail. Make it a nice high contrast, moody black and white. Then I'm also going to go down here and let's go down into the effects section here. I'm just going to pull back on the vignette so that we have a nice little vignette for our moody, dramatic black and white. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into Develop, and I'm going to go down to this Batch Tools section, and I'm going to add this look into one of these buckets. This first bucket here, Option 1. I'll click that, and it adds in that look into that bucket there. Now I can go through into similar photos. Let's say, for example, this one. And I can click on this Option 1 style, or I can just hold down Option and hit 1 on my keyboard. And it will add in that same style that we have right there. Let's say we want maybe a little more of a light, airy one. Well, I'm just going to warm things up just a little bit. Add in some contrast. Let's boost the shadows a bit. And then I'll also go down and I'll do the opposite within my vignetting. And I'll pull it to the right to give it a little bit of air around the corners. Let's add that into Option 2. So now, if we find similar images, for example, let's do this photo here. I can use that quick preset there by just using Option and 2 on my keyboard. And now I've added in that same look into that particular photo. You can also add this into groups of photos. So if I grab this group of images here, these 3 photos here, let's say we want it to be this Option 1 option. Let's say we want it to be this Option 1 style. We can either click it or again just use Option 1 on our keyboards. And we're going to apply it to more than one photo. And just like that, we've applied our quick preset to a group of photographs. Another tip that I wanted to mention is navigating between your filtered images and your selects. So I mentioned earlier that the filtered category here is simply all of the images that are identified as either duplicates, they have closed eyes, or they're blurry. But you can of course click on the filtered category to navigate through all of these different categories at once. Remember, you can use these arrows to navigate through them, or you can simply use Command and the left and right arrow keys on your keyboard. Now, once you've rated the image into a select from whatever preference you chose, that will then place them into your selects category. So let's find a photograph that we want to add into our selects. This is a great one. We'll click 5 on the keyboard. Now we have that image in our selects category there. And like I talked about in the first lesson, the getting started lesson, one of my favorite things to do when it comes to finding your selects and quote unquote grouping them together is to go into your grid view here and then go into the sort menu and choose rating. That way, when you scroll to the top, you have all of your 5-star images, i.e. your selects, that you can navigate to and quickly find. So you can see here, we have all of our 5-star photographs right here so that we can easily find those selects and then either edit them or remove them from that specific category. The next tip I wanted to talk about was using the Faces pane instead of Lightpanel to identify the sharpest and best expression within your scene. So when we're navigating through duplicates especially, we oftentimes want to find the best expression or best expressions of faces and also the sharpest ones within that set of images. We can use this faces section to do that. Now, when we're dealing with quite a few faces, as we are here, we have 5 different people, we may want to be able to see all of these faces without having to scroll up and down this faces section. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this little menu option, and I like to use 3 columns for this. That way, we have 3 different columns, so if we have a large group of people within our scene, we can see all of those faces right there. Now, this works great for, again, if you have images with a lot of people. So when you're capturing group photos especially, you can easily identify all of those different faces within your image and determine which one is the best one overall. So for this one, we have about 9 different people within this photo. We can see all of those different faces here that it's identified within that particular image there.